Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's my pleasure. It's always my honor to be greeting you and bringing this message of emancipation to you, pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why I want to speak to you concerning what Abdullah would have taught Neville Goddard concerning God's system of wealth. So today we're going to focus on God's system of wealth. In order for you to understand God's system of wealth, you have to first know who is God. And Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia, he taught Neville Goddard that God in man is man's imagination. And that it was true, God's system of wealth, whereby you operate the power of your imagination, knowing that it is your creative self, it is your creative power, knowing that it is your true essence, knowing that there can only be one creator, there can only be one Lord, one Savior, and one Master. You pull on that power, and you use that power to achieve your every desire. So, if that is God's system of wealth, and everything works by law, it means we have to walk according to the law of God. Therefore, God's law, our laws, must be universal laws, which means they must apply or they must be applicable to everyone. So we see when Nevill was studying with Abdullah, and he had this burning desire, we see how Abdullah started teaching him God's system of wealth by showing him how that actually it is his own thoughts that is creating his reality and creating his personality, but he have to prove it for himself. And so Abdullah was saying, you can know something by theory, but only until you experience something, you really know something. So, if you want to operate in God's system of wealth, you have to learn to walk with law, knowing that things have been done a certain way. And if it's been done a certain way, it will give you a certain result. And that is why you have to be so careful about intellectualism. Just saying things what you will have heard someone else say and you have never had any experience for your own self about it. So Abdullah was like, put your imagination to work. Trust your imagination. That is God's system of wealth. That's how you're going to draw wealth to you. That's how you're going to attract wealth to you. You have to understand the power of the mind. You have to understand how your subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind is your friend. So when you learn the power of the subconscious mind, then you will understand this system of wealth. Because you will understand, as I would have said before, that the creator in everyone is man's imagination. For the eternal body of man is the imagination, and that is God himself, and there's no other God. And that was one of the things that Neville learned from Abdullah, having studied with Abdullah for over 7 years. He realized that everything was connected. He realized that we are magnetic and electrical beings. That is why he could have slept in his mother's home in Barbados while he was residing in New York. And when he walked the streets of New York, he would see himself walking the streets of Barbados in his imagination. That is why we have to live in the end. That is why we have to live from the wish being fulfilled. And so my brothers and my sisters, I just want to encourage you to walk in the system of God's wealth, or God's system of wealth, by force accepting your God self, embracing your God self, believing in your God self, believing in the God that is within you, and practicing meditation and practicing visualization and affirmation and all of these things. You practice them in your life because you're trusting the Creator in you. You practice them in your life because you're trusting the Savior in you. You're doing all of that because you know that you can only show your faith by your works. So you must put forward the works because there's a lot of action. So my brothers and my sisters, in essence, there is a place of wealth that is there for all of us. But you must walk according to the law of God to operate in God's system of wealth. There must be a way of thinking. There must be a way you're channeling your energy. Remembering that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. Always remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So there's a system of wealth. God's system of wealth. It's not a religious system. It is not a self-righteous system. It's a system that's right before us, whereby if we look around, we'll see the divine law of reproduction, that every seed and every species always reproduce after its kind. That is law. And we always see the sun rises in purpose and sets in purpose. No, that's law. If there is light, there is darkness. That's a law. Everything has a polar opposite. That's law. That's polarity. Every effect of a cause, every cause of an effect. That's law. Cause and effect. So, if we are spirits having a human experience and we are divine, there must be spiritual laws. There must be divine laws. So there is a system, God's system of wealth. And that is what I've been sharing with you, as Neville and Abdullah would have shared with all of humanity. There is a science of getting rich. I think Wallace Wattles would have written a book on it too, The Science of Getting Rich. I'm calling it God's system of wealth. And I can show you God's system of wealth all over. The Bible is all over. God has a system of wealth, but first of all, you have to know who is God. That is why, my brothers and my sisters, I'm pointing you to look within yourself and discover that you are God in flesh. Accept your God self and start to use your creative power to achieve your every desire. For that was the message that was taught to Neville Goddard by our ancestor Abdullah, the black mystic from Ethiopia. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you all very much for listening to me. And I want to say this is the very first time that you're listening to me. And what I'm saying is making sense to you, is resonating with you. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, I'm encouraging you to follow me on Instagram at Black Mad Guru. And also, if you would like to support this work, you can support this work on Patreon or by way of PayPal. And I want to thank you for always tuning in and for always vibrating on this high level of frequency. Remember, there is always a system that is God's system towards coming in to wealth. Continue to feed your mind and these truths. And remember that your results in life would always be in exact proportion to your service and your contribution. So think of what contribution you like to give to this world. And as you give, so shall you receive. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all.